many of you have been noticing that the real key to really expand your awareness and reach the higher states of consciousness is not really in some mystical practices, but in your own unique, authentic energy? Like when you embrace yourself completely, like all of yourself, like all your gifts, all your talents, all your flaws, all your errors, all your weird and awkward parts of you, and all your strengths. When you put all of this together and you kind of notice like you are an incredible being, suddenly mysterious things about this life unlock for you. Have you noticed that? Because I want to share something with you that maybe it will resonate with you. It's something that I've started seeing in my life. Like in the recent years, I've noticed that things started moving so mysteriously, like incredible synchronicities, incredible manifestations. At times when it seems like nothing is moving forward, suddenly the most incredible things come together. Like life would be testing you to the last possible point where you almost quit, but then it just smoothly flows. Everything just moves into the most incredible manifestation. Many times it's not even manifesting your desires, but manifesting something so much greater that reminds you of why your soul is here at this time. When we talk about the fifth dimension, we usually talk about the dimension where we live more heart-based, where everything is available in the present moment and we tap into it more consciously. Like we're constantly jumping in and out with our awareness. And sometimes when people ask us like, when will we shift into fifth dimension? I say back, we are already there. Come and meet us, right? Because it's like you becoming aware that so much more is available to you when you stop reacting so much out of fear and you choose to slow down, to recharge more deeply, and to stop moving so much through your life out of fear, out of reactivity, out of victimization. But actually notice what was that soul call, what was that pull that I often talk about that is available to you in the present moment. I want to share with you 6 different things. Like we can call them science, but I would rather call them experiences that you may feel at this point, that you may notice that your consciousness is expanding. You already know it is expanding. It's not something someone should say to you, but it's just putting into words what we are feeling so our mind can make more sense out of what soulfully we are going through. How many of you feel like you actually have so much more power than you ever thought? And when you stop living so much out of fear, like sometimes people say, when something big will happen to me, I'm waiting it and it didn't happen yet. And well, the answer is it's because you're waiting. If everything is already available in the present moment, it will not show up if you're waiting it. It can only show up when you become aware of it, right? But then it will not show up the way you predict it because, well, there's an ingredient of surprise. You never know everything. And in order to learn something new, you need to be surprised by it, right? If you already know how something will happen, then it's known. It's not a surprise. Then you're predicting it. The way to expand your consciousness is a way of surprises, right? That's why people who are afraid of surprises want to stay in this state of separation so they would be predicting their lives. People who want to expand their consciousness, live more fulfilling lives, they need to embrace the unknown. They need to accept the ingredient of surprise. If it's positive or negative, they accept it, and they accept it from a state of love and understanding. Like, if it showed up in my life, it showed up for a reason. There's something I need to learn from it. There's something I'm still not maybe okay with. And I need to find out why I'm not okay with it. Because if you want to stretch yourself and become more, well, you stretch into the light, and then light creates a shadow. When the shadow is bigger, it means you have more parts that were hidden from you to explore, which means there's more negativity to explore. There's more negative emotions to heal. And there's more certain dark patterns to notice that before you were just unconscious of. So, well, it's quite a mysterious journey, isn't it? And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. So, my friend, how can you tell right at this moment that you're actually, yes, expanding, stretching yourself, not physically, but more soulfully, more energetically, sometimes even mentally? You think greater thoughts, they just come to you. You have incredible ideas, they just come to you. But they come to you in a beautiful sequence. Like there's a stream speaking to you, whispering to you, hey, my friend, stop being so ignorant. Stop ignoring what I'm saying to you, because if you would listen to me, you would be fine, right? So you can quit that fear and relax. Yes, when you relax, you notice that there is a whisper of guidance. It's a sense of assurance that you're okay and that things are working out quite well, and you just need to relax. And yes, I've relaxed my tone right now, and it makes you feel maybe a bit differently. If yes, you notice it's a different state, isn't it? You feel more, you sense more, but you trust more as well. So the first thing you may experience is that you feel free to initiate without seeking approval and trust divine timing more than external validation. How many of you are at that point? You feel free to initiate. One thing on this journey is that it's a journey of taking massive action. Well, it's both. It's a journey of being. Sometimes it's just about being. But many times you're here with purpose, right? Which means you're not just an observer. Some of you may be. But some of you feel a very deep pull to initiate a vision, to initiate a dream. Just some time ago, I've been on a call with someone who said, for many months or even years, I've been having this repetitive call, like intuitive call that I need to start something. I've been watching your videos and it was constantly, keep reminding me I should do something about it. And he initiated it, and he built an incredible business out of it. And that's how it feels. Like it started for me back in 2017. And it started for you maybe some time ago, or maybe you're going through it right now. That's how you know you're shifting. You're shifting. You're not so fear-based anymore. Now you're like, if a dream is calling me, I have to initiate it. And one thing that many people on this path really achieve as the greatest success is a trust in the divine timing. Trust in the divine timing. And life will test you to such a degree that you will quit worrying. Yes, you will quit worrying, because you will notice worry will not change anything. Trust will also not change much, but it will make you more relaxed. One way or another, you will reach your goals. If those are heart-based goals, you will reach them. But one path is stressful path. Another path is more fluid, pleasant, relaxed path. If you choose the relaxed one, it means you have trust, you have faith. If you choose the stressed one, it means that you're still fighting with your old fears and trying to control the way, control the universe. Can you control the universe? Come on, my friend, can you control it? Well, I don't know about you. I'm not trying. Yes. So It means you have less frustration, more effortless creation. You have aligned people responding to your work, to what you're doing, and it just feels great. It feels great, right? And that feeling of alignment, that feeling of effortless action, that feeling of less frustration is what we call resonance, right? And resonance meets more frequencies with which you are in resonance with. And that's what physics call constructive interference, which means that when you're in resonance and you're moving on your path, you will meet more frequencies that are in resonance with you, and constructive interference increases this frequency, which means more you're taking aligned action, more you're trusting the flow, less you're frustrated about it because you're trusting more, stronger is your energy, more you're magnetic. And this is the real expansion of consciousness. It's not so complicated and it's not so mystical as it is really physical. It's physics. You do what's aligned with you. You cut the distractions that are not aligned with you. You see how something affects you when it's out of alignment. It drains you, right? It's destructive. When something is constructive, it feeds you. It makes you stronger. So if I break it down, one sign you can experience right now that you are shifting is that you feel very free to initiate any calling that you have, and it feeds you up when you do it. It's like you can do it all day long. Do you feel that? Then the second one is that work no longer feels like work. I talk about the work that was your calling, the work that is your passion, the work that comes out of joy. It doesn't feel like work anymore. I remember when I started this journey, I started with painting, and then I moved also to this YouTube channel. So I'm partially painting, like all the paintings that are here behind me and all the paintings that you can find on AttractPassion.com. This is partially what I'm doing, and partially is what I'm doing here on YouTube and guidance and coaching and all of that. And on our Patreon, we've just started a podcast. So these are two aspects of me that I'm very deeply passionate about. And as I've started doing that, it was partially very fluid and partially it was work. Like, oh, I need to edit videos and I need to learn all about that. Well, nowadays it's all just flow. I'm not doing what doesn't feel right. I'm not forcing anything anymore. it just feels like work, like flow. And sometimes, even if I don't feel like I would do anything about it, I may notice maybe I just need to rest, and then I go to rest, and when I'm recharged, I just get pulled. Oh, yes, now I'm ready. So it's really moving with the flow. Not, you need to recognize when maybe laziness pulls you away. So you can notice that these old patterns of laziness and being slow and maybe being foggy is just something you're rewriting with listening and recharging, like rejuvenating yourself. So when work no longer feels like work, everything you do is deeply satisfying and energizing. It doesn't mean that everything you're doing feels like that, but you found more things that feel like that. You may still have an old job, but most probably many of you who are on this path for quite some time, you're most probably doing something you're very passionate about. You've grown with it a lot. If you're at the beginning, you know that it is taking you far. You've experienced many synchronicities. The key point here is that you really listen what your soul says to you, because your soul will push you completely out of the comfort. If you're here to build something big, many of you are, your soul will push you out of the comfort. Some of you are maybe in a phase where you're just healing, where you're just, yes, rejuvenating from all the chaos. And those of you may synchronistically experience like opportunities and ways so you can do it. So if your life right now is tough, it is a reminder that you haven't went out of the comfort zone enough. And if you say you've been, maybe you are not consistent enough, or you haven't developed a sense of trust and a sense of need for growth and learning. This is a huge part here when it comes to expansion. Like, you need to keep tapping into the energy of that new life, so then you can experience this desire for growth. So something can pull you more into a soulful life, so you can kind of shatter these egoistic needs to feel safe, to feel maybe rather stuck in the comfort because it feels okay. It feels okay, but it doesn't feel like life. So when work no longer feels like work, you know that you've shifted, because more you're doing what you've been made for, more it will fill you with life so you can do more of it. Life gives you more of what you use, and it takes from you what you don't use. That's why they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. But if you use it, you gain it, right? So notice the talents of yours, notice the good qualities of yours, notice the strengths of yours, because it only tells you what you've been made for, and only you can learn and figure out where to take it, okay? You know everything, my friend. You know so much more than you think you know. That's something you should know. That's something you should know, yeah. Another sign you may experience right now that you are shifting and your consciousness is expanding is that you stop forcing linear progress and fully trust your ability to pivot, shift, and multitask without guilt. Yes. Well, one thing about multitasking is that when we do it out of stress, it makes us very, very overwhelmed. But when we do it intuitively, it feels like we've kind of gained another brain, and we just do everything so smoothly. Of course, for example, when I'm painting, it goes with such a flow, but at the end I'm exhausted. And it's like, it charges me, but I'm still exhausted because it took quite some energy from my brain. And then I need to have quite a good routine to recharge. So I spend a lot of time in nature. Many times I go in sauna or a massage or something like that. Like, yes, take care of your vessel. It's quite, well, beautiful. And carry it well. Take care of it, right? So you stop forcing linear progress and fully trust your ability to pivot, to guide this process. Stop forcing. How many of you have noticed that you've done more progress when you've stopped forcing? When you've recognized that inspiration finds you at the right time. And if you follow it, it takes you to the right places and the right breakthroughs and everything that follows it. How many of you are noticing this change? Because that's something I've been noticing, especially, well, towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, I've noticed that I just don't feel like forcing anything anymore. I'm so okay with that. So okay with that. And it feels great. I've done more progress at the beginning of this year because I was not forcing anything than maybe in a half of last year, because there was still certain things I've been like trying to manipulate and trying to force and do it in certain ways I thought out of fear it should be, or I thought out of my past how it should be. I've just let all of this go. I am constantly saying to myself, if it feels right in this moment, then I will do it. If it doesn't feel right in this moment, then I will not do it. And that's something that works for me. So you may notice that time bends for you many times when you do it out of alignment, when you do it out of your inner guidance. So the reason why I talk so much about that inner guidance is because I don't want to say to you what you should do. I want to turn you inside of you and know what to do. That's when where you will hear it. I know we people love to hear an advice from someone outside of us to tell us what would be the best thing to do. But while we can listen to them and it will work for a few days, but we recognize it's not our rhythm. How they say we should do it, it's in their rhythm. You have your own unique rhythm and you need to get to know it better. To those of you who are really expanding and shifting during this time, you're getting to know your rhythm so much better. That's why there's so many different comments. If you've noticed, like some people are saying, I'm so full of energy. Some people are saying, I'm completely drained. Some people are saying, I'm letting go of all people in my life. Some people are saying, I'm quitting my job. Some people are like, I love my job. So many different opinions because people are finally tuning into their own rhythm and recognizing, well, the sound that speaks to me, well, moves me in a unique way. No one can really say to me how I should move because no one really hears the sound that I hear. You in verse, you have your own verse to dance to, right? So that's why it feels so strange maybe. Because no advice from other people really fit you anymore. In the past it worked. Like I loved reading so many books from other people in the past, telling me what to do. Today, I just can't do that anymore. I'm still reading books here and there, more because of the English language. But I'm not really reading that to get an advice because I've noticed that I already know what I have to do. It doesn't mean I know everything. I'm still burning myself. I'm still hurting myself because I do something sometimes a bit too impulsively. But that's how I learn, and I love these lessons because that's where true wisdom is coming from, right? So see how much you're noticing your rhythm better. Then another sign you may experience right now is that you no longer chase validation, but instead attract recognition and invitations effortlessly. Are you noticing that? Especially those of you who are in some big projects, working on some big dreams. Are you noticing that when you've stopped chasing validation, when you've stopped pleasing others, when you've stopped doing more and burning out, you've recognized that recognition happens, invitations come, breakthroughs appear. Yes, because you're not here alone, you already know that. Well, if in the field of present moment there's infinite amount of possibilities, maybe there's intelligence. Of course, you already know that. There's intelligence that is orchestrating all of this so it works perfectly, right? Beyond all of this, there's a source, we call it God, that created all of this complex reality. And the best way to live your life is to surrender, to learn to surrender to it, which means do your job when you feel really pulled, inspired, joyful to do the job. When you've done it, surrender to it so it can take its part in your life. This is the beautiful balance that we're all learning. Most probably none of us is a master yet, but we're all learning and getting better in this balance of effort and letting go, effort and surrender. And that's a sign that you're shifting more into a higher state of consciousness where everything is starting to move more smoothly. You're pushing less. You're not doing too much. and burning out. You're doing more right things, more aligned things, and therefore opportunities are finding you. And the last one is that you feel deeply in tune with the collective energy and experience moments of pure clarity and flow. How many of you feel that? Because that's also something I'm just feeling more and more. To feel more deeply in tune with the collective energies. So collective energies, there's more of them. You have the human nature energies, which are all these automatic behaviors that sometimes we just fall into. And then there are intuitive collective energies, which is like a potential into which we are evolving. And those who feel really in tune with the collective intuitive energies, they feel that the potential into which collective can evolve, and therefore usually you feel a sense of future most people don't sense yet, and therefore you can think about potential outcomes most people don't think about, and therefore you talk about it, or you even create it through art or through, well, maybe messages, and then people are like, you're a prophet. How did you know? How can you know how I feel and things like that? Well, because you're in tune with collective energies. So the important message here is, don't allow yourself to be too influenced by collective energies of human nature that sometimes pull you into chaos, especially when more chaotic things are happening on the world. And don't be scared if you feel some negative potential outcomes, because it's not necessary that they will happen. Nothing is necessary that it will happen. It's what we do the most frequently that we manifest. So the point here is, when something awakens a lot of fear, well, you don't need to interact with this kind of dreams too much. You can find the greatest possible potential, I call it the highest good, and aim towards it and work towards it, and therefore manifest it in your life, so you can make a good life for you and for people around you. That's a good choice. I think it's a good choice. So instead of feeling lost in others' energy, you become a mirror of higher consciousness, helping others see their truth. That is a beautiful aim, a beautiful act of being, or maybe a beautiful state of being, to become a mirror of, yes, something higher. Many of you are embodying more divine masculinity, more divine femininity. And when people see you, you don't even need to look like someone spiritual or whatever. You can look like a completely regular person, but your habits are more divine. Your lifestyle is more divine, which means you're more in tune with life. You're not so stressed, you're not burning out, you're not doing too much. You're doing what's aligned. And many times people don't understand that, right? Many times people are like, how is it possible to live like that? And you feel it's very easy. You just need to have trust. And you need to quit that lack thinking that something is not available, because it is. Usually not in a material way, but in a sense of energy, in sense of ideas, in sense of inspiration. And if you grab it, take action with it the way it calls you, you manifest it, you bring it here. And through doing, you become good at it. So, well, mastery is a part of the process. So many times people go from misery to mastery. And that's something I would be quite proud of, because, well, if you turn misery into mastery, it means you've walked a brave path. You've built a bridge between being lost and being found. So, well, you've done a good work, right? Alchemists actually called it the great work. The great work. Yeah. Good job. Good job. I will leave you here, my friends. I hope you found a great value in today's message. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I hope you can find also great inspiration in my art. Go and check out our store, AttractPassion.com, where you will find my original paintings, prints of my paintings, mugs, shirts, phone cases, and so much more. Check it out. And also thanks to all of you for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. We've just started, like I said, a new podcast series. Go and check it out. Together with Maya, we are recording a podcast. And also to our Patreon community members, we are answering your questions there and so much more. So become a member and see if there's anything that may be valuable to you. Go and check it out. Until next time, one love.